We just have to do an intro. That's all we have to do. That's all that's stopping us is the intro.
Howdy, folks.
Howdy. Recently we had an idea. I think it's a pretty good idea.
It is a pretty good idea.
For a show called Why Your Relationship Sucks.
Where we basically give relationship advice and just our opinion.
Yeah, we were thinking, we've got a pretty good marriage.
Things are going pretty well, pretty smoothly.
Going real well. So we thought, why not pay it forward? Share our opinion of how to succeed in a relationship with the internet.
Make yours a little better.
How could things go wrong? There's no way this can go wrong. There's no way.
For us, you mean?
No, for them.
Oh.
Because not everybody is the same, right? What works for one couple or one relationship doesn't necessarily work for another. But conversation, discussion, communication, that's what it's all about, right? Mm-hmm. So we'll communicate our advice to you, and you can decide if it's bad or
if it's good advice, if you agree.
Right?
You can comment and tell us if you agree or disagree with
Share your thoughts, please do. But I do have to put my disclaimer up on the screen and say it out loud. We are not licensed professionals. We're not.
This is strictly our opinion.
We are not, we didn't go to school for this.
No.
We're just one married couple sharing our
Only
advice.
one of us even has a college degree, and it's not me.
Woo. Here's how this is gonna work. We recently got YouTube members, as some of you may know.
Welcome, Coomers.
Yes, you are the Coomers if you're a member. And for the highest tier Coomer, the based Coomers, every time we go to record a new video, we will post a question on the community tab of the channel, and based Coomers only will, for now, be able to respond with their answers to the question.
For us to talk about.
Exactly. We're going to go over their answers and kind of go over how we feel about the topic, and it'll be a great way to explore different topics and relationships and exchange ideas between us and you. Nothing can go wrong, like I said.
I'm excited to interact with you guys more than anything.
So without further ado, I think we should feature the question. You want to do the honors?
Yes, I can do that. What is the hardest part about being What is the hardest part about being in a committed relationship for you?
Yes, for you, because this issue, what makes a relationship, a committed relationship, difficult is going to be different for different people. So let's see what the Coomers said.
I think for a lot of people, they struggle with the very first word.
Yeah, commitment. Commitment's a hard thing for a lot of people.
I don't really understand. Personally?
Well, there's so many options today. So many ways to meet new people.
I guess people are just disloyal.
Yeah.
Shots fired.
And also, I think a little bit of it is people are chasing the dragon. They're always searching for the next best thing. They're biding their time until the next best thing. I've seen that personally in my life. So, I definitely know that's a thing.
Or they settle and they're extremely unhappy with where they are in life.
Yeah, this first response. So Takuara.
I say Takura.
Takura.
I think they said I was right.
Okay, she was right. For me, it has to be finding free time to do more of my own stuff. This was the shortest answer.
Yeah, it was. But I guess that's fair.
I can see it.
Yeah.
That's a legitimate thing. You have to make compromises in your time
for each other
when you're in a relationship. But I think part of that is just being an adult too.
Yeah.
Like even if I was single, I still wouldn't have
time to do
a lot of time. Yeah.
And it's beneficial to find somebody that you share a lot of interests in. Yeah, so that way you get to do your own thing, but together.
Yeah, overlapping interests is for sure going to help you a lot. But also, I think being open to getting into your partner's or your spouse's interests. If you can make time for their interests and they can make time for yours, and there's a happy medium going on, then that's a really good compromise. I
almost get choice paralysis with the hobbies I have because there's like so many things that I want to do.
There's a lot of stuff that you're into. Yeah.
I can't do them all. It's so irritating.
So our next comment comes in from Ray. Learning and understanding each other's differences. It's one thing to know people are different and a whole other to commit yourself to someone else, accepting their flaws and bearing your own to them. knowing they will do the same. Personally, I struggle with my own flaws and find it hard to believe anyone else could accept them. So trusting that my partner truly does accept everything about me is the hardest part, and having the confidence to be myself instead of the public image of me around them. Although maybe that's just my anxiety, so who knows?
Everybody can relate to that, honestly. Like, it's definitely difficult to show your true self to people, you know, and be entirely yourself. No holds barred, you know. You just say whatever you want.
The good, the bad, and the ugly.
Pretty much, yeah. And just to be yourself entirely, that's actually a really brave thing to do. And no one really talks about how brave it is to truly be yourself, honestly. You go through all of school being told to kind of like hide that. And so when it comes to a relationship where you want them to like adore you, and you're thinking about all these years of trauma built up of all the bullying that occurred, and you don't want to.
Yeah, what if they think I'm weird, or what if they, think I'm an asshole, or
what if they think I'm annoying if I talk too much?
Yeah, but that's kind of a good rule of thumb for life in general, is to be yourself. And then if people can't be okay with who you are, then you're just weeding out the losers.
And honestly, what I've noticed is that, I mean, you're out of your early 20s, but for me, early 20s, has been like all about getting back into the things I was really into when I was in middle school for some reason. Like, I was so... Stop.
You're out of your early 20s, but... No, keep going.
Different generation genes. Do you remember way back when?
Way back when? Okay, Zoomer.
What would I even call you?
I don't know. There's nothing like that for millennials.
Yeah,
Moomer? Finish the sentiment. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
I feel like I've gotten all through high school, like I didn't want to be seen as somebody who is girly, and I like didn't like that image.
Yeah. And
now
you don't hide it.
I don't give a F.
Yeah. But I like that about you.
Watch my language here. Yeah. And I've only become more and more myself, like, as I've been you've made me a lot more confident, to be honest. You make me feel good about myself.
That's right.
When I am being myself the most, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Like, you hype me up when I'm at my most me. I don't know how to...
No, I mean, it's the same for me. I'm definitely more comfortable in my own skin since we got together and have been together. Thanks, Ray.
I can relate with the anxiety, too, because I overthink.
It's natural to care a lot about what your partner thinks of you. I don't care what anybody else thinks of me at this point, other than you, really. There are like two other people who I care about their opinion about.
I care about what y'all think. I don't know why.
I don't care what you think.
Maybe I shouldn't. I do.
No, it's probably good that one of us cares what they think.
Can I read the next one?
Yeah, go for it.
Missy! Sorry. The hardest part being in a committed relationship for me is letting go of the past. The way my ex left, now 7 years ago, has made me believe that I do not deserve to be loved, that no one wants me. Though I am now married to someone who has always been my best friend and I love him, for some reason I have a hard time believing that he actually loves me back. My husband has done so much more for me. God damn it! My husband has done so much for me, especially within the past year. So why can't I let go and believe I deserve this?
I am a firm believer in actions speaking louder than words. So when you say something like your husband has done so much for you, especially within the past year, I think that when someone is there every day and they're doing the things that you expect your partner or spouse to be doing for you, that kind of says it all right there. It doesn't mean that words aren't important and that it's important to communicate with your words and understand where someone stands. But if they're both saying that, this is the way it is, I care about you, I'm going to be there for you every step of the way, every moment, I'm going to support you the rest of our lives, and they're actually backing it up with their actions, they're being there instead of just going off and doing whatever, or prioritizing their hobbies over your financial stability or whatever it is. And I'm not saying that it's wrong or right to prioritize one thing over the other, but at the end of the day, what it all equals to is your needs are being met. Do you feel like your needs are being met? I understand that it's still hard to get around that mental block, but that's just how I see it.
honestly, it sounds like you're struggling with the trauma of that past relationship and how it left you, and you're letting it affect this relationship now, even though you know it's the relationship for you. Obviously, you're married, but you need to be able to let go of the past in order to flourish in the future. You need to let go, learn. Maybe it wasn't you who was the reason why your ex left the way they did. And in fact, it was them being a really crappy person to you and being not who they should have been and not what you deserved. So don't say that you don't deserve. Sorry, I'm getting all aggressive and pointing.
Sometimes that's helpful to be aggressive because it gets the point across.
Yeah, don't say that you don't deserve to be loved like that. Are you kidding me?
Everybody deserves to be loved. Well, not everybody, but
there are a select few who don't. We don't need to say.
Anybody who is earnestly doing their best to prioritize the happiness of their loved ones, and when you do things for your loved ones and that makes you happy, like that's your peak happiness, is being there for the people you care about, then you deserve that too. You've been to our streams for, years. A year plus at this point. We can definitely say you're not one of the others that don't deserve love.
That's for sure. Yeah.
Nothing to worry about there.
You have to be able to let go of that and think, wow, they're just a really lame person and I'm a lot better than they are and they didn't deserve me.
Absolutely.
Jane deserves me.
Hell yeah, I do. Hell yeah, I do. I think the common thread here, too, is you should communicate how you're feeling and you should be transparent about who you are and what you're about.
Don't be overbearing.
That's really important. If you're hiding stuff, you find yourself concealing things from your partner or your spouse, that's you don't want to be there. You don't want to be concealing.
No, you want to have open lines of communication.
Yeah. And that goes both for the bad stuff, like I did something wrong, and also like I'm feeling this way. I feel like I...
Sometimes when I'm feeling it's like random times out of the year, I'll just feel kind of low and insecure. And I tell you, I'm like, I need extra validation.
And I'm like, I got you.
Yeah.
Because that's why you communicate. Because then your partner can be like, I got you. Mm-hmm. You're beautiful. You're awesome. You're the best. You're killing it. You're really good at this wife shit. That's why I got your name on my wrist.
I'm really good at this wife shit.
All right, moving on. We've got Mr. Rowan, who said, the most difficult part about being in a committed relationship is recognizing that I simply can't ignore issues. I'm a conflict avoidant guy by default, but running away from problems by being dismissive or shutting a conversation down is a really bad habit. It was when I learned as a kid, but as an adult, it doesn't fly. Instead of solving or addressing the situation, it just makes it last longer. I'm working on being more direct about confronting challenges in our relationship between me and my girlfriend, as well as adopting a better us versus the problem mentality.
Yes.
This is a very wise take.
It is. And I can definitely relate. A lot of relationships that I've seen involve a lot of yelling. As a small child, seeing yelling happen, it kind of made me just clam up. Sometimes it would make me yell too, like in our arguments. That was a real issue when we first were together and first married, because if I'm very upset, if I'm all yelled out and there's nothing else for me to scream at you about, I just shut down and I withhold affection and I just like put up walls, you know what I mean? And it really, really is not helpful at all whatsoever. And that was a big thing that I had to realize is not helpful. Makes me feel worse. It doesn't make me feel good to be like that towards you. It shouldn't make anybody feel like good to be putting up a fake front, this hard shell around yourself. You just can't do that in a relationship. You have to be able to speak freely about your feelings. Like, it's going to be an argument, but you shouldn't fear every argument thinking this is going to break us up. You know what I mean? You need to be able to say what you mean honestly and trust that they'll still love you. Well,
also trust that they'll try to solve the problem with you. Both of you need to be willing to, or 3 or 4 of you, however many of you there are, need to be able to come together and solve the problem as a team, which is exactly why, when Rowan says us versus the problem mentality, that's a very wise understanding of relationships, because if you treat each other, it's me versus my wife or me versus my husband or whatever, you're gonna run into issues. Period. Like it needs to be we're on the same team 100% of the time.
Yep.
And that trickles down into a lot of things. How do I say this without admitting that I get joy out of watching other couples up in public? It doesn't make me feel good, but it's kind of like watching someone fall in public. You know what I mean?
The same reason why we watch dramas.
Yeah, exactly. It's like reality TV, and it's live action right in front of you. You just can't look away. Can't look away. It's like watching
That's so funny.
a car accident. You're not gonna look away. You're not gonna be like, oh. No, you're gonna be like, oh. You're gonna want to see what happens when you blow up like that in public. It's like, I don't know. You have to be on the same side of the problem. You have to find a way forward and not. Because when that strategy is used where you clam up and you don't deal with it, nobody wins. Nobody wins. You're not going to be happy like you said. And then the other person is just going to be like, okay, well, I can feel something is wrong.
Yeah.
But I have no idea what it is or what to do about it.
Yeah.
Yeah, they just don't address. If you don't
they
address
let the world
things,
marble them. You know what I mean?
Yeah, conflict is a good thing. Because conflict leads to resolution.
And then you can relax. It's so nice to breathe afterwards. Ooh, the makeup. This is from a Clash the Lion fan. All the other Coomers point out really valid and interesting points of view. As for myself, for the moment at least, the hardest part is dealing with my own issues that do not let me live my life to the fullest and not wanting to burden someone I want to be in a relationship with. Don't get me wrong, I am not a one-night stand kind of guy. Until then, I hope specialized help will be enough to get me out of this. As for my family, I regret burdening them as well. Let's not forget that committed relationships can be of other nature, not only being a couple or married, although I believe this is the nature of the question asked here. Oh, I see what they're saying.
I think a lot of people need to experience being single for a while to be able to appreciate what it is they want out of life with somebody else. Because, and of course, maybe having a significant other isn't the right option for everybody, but I do think that's what a lot of people do want out of life is a life with someone else. And it's really important that you have your ducks in a row before you commit, permanently in a serious way to somebody else. But that doesn't mean that you're not going to have issues at some point while you're in a relationship. So maybe that's the advice I'll give is there may never be a perfect time for you to feel like you've made it there, but at least if you have clarity, as long as the intent is there to always be that partner that you want to be, and you always try to stick to that, it's okay if you have issues inside of a relationship.
I think part of being in any relationship, whether it's familial or a friendship, or a relationship like ours, is being able to help lighten each other's load. If there's something that's really weighing on you, you should be able to, if they're a really good friend and you trust them, you should be able to tell them and get their advice to their best knowledge back. And you should be able to just be able to speak relatively freely. You know what I mean? Maybe you can't entirely be yourself, but you should be able to trust that they can give you some help in return. You know what I mean? And I don't mean constantly overloading your friends. Every time you talk to them, you're complaining. But if it's every now and then, sometimes you go through conflict and you need to talk it out with somebody else. You need to spitball how you're feeling and ideas that are going on inside that make you feel the way you do about other things. It's really easy for me to tell you if something's bothering me.
That's right, yeah.
Yeah, I don't really have I don't mean if I have an issue with you. I mean anything. If I see something that makes me sad, I pretty much tell you everything.
And you still should tell me if you have an issue with me.
Well, yeah.
You should always be...
But that's not what I was... That's not what I was meaning.
Know. Yeah. Yeah. You're never going to be happy 100% of the time. That'd be weird, honestly, if you were just happy 100% of the time.
Yeah.
Things ebb and flow. It's understandable if you feel like this is, you don't have room for a relationship, but you can't let the fact that you aren't 100% good 100% of the time stop you, because nobody is.
Yeah, if you're feeling down, relationships are supposed to be 50-50, but sometimes it can be 60-40 if someone's really depressed or if they're not feeling well or, the other way around.
Yeah. Even better than that.
Ebbs and flows.
Yeah, that is like realistically how it works out. But the saying that I like and I always think about is it's not you try and put in your half, it's you put in 100%. And that's why being married to you, frankly, is really easy because I feel like you're putting in 100% every day. I've never been like, oh, she's not putting in...
She's not doing anything.
effort. She's not doing this. She's not doing that. Like, you're always doing things I don't even think of, and then it's done, and it's like, oh my God, like, you're amazing.
I think so amazing. That's really sweet because I never feel like I'm doing enough.
I don't think you're amazing. I know.
I never feel like I do enough.
I know. All right.
Thank you for the validation.
Word. This one comes from another James. Oh. Trusting each other. It's vital in any relationship, let alone one with a romantic partner, to maintain a degree of trust that is above and beyond what you would have with a random person. To be in a committed relationship with someone requires you to trust them implicitly with terrible consequences when that trust is misplaced. Everyone thinks that they can do something the best, whether it's something major or minor. People are always hesitant to let something out of their control. But that's what's so important in a committed relationship, to trust each other without reservation and stop treating yourselves as two different people, but rather as a team who will back each other's decisions to the hilt. Love is a two-way street, and for it to work, both parties have to trust each other more than they have before.
It's true.
This is another really great response.
Yeah.
Thank you also, James, for the incredible feedback.
That's perfect. I think this also still has to do with everything else we were saying before because
it's all connected.
It really is. You can't really be entirely yourself around somebody until you trust them.
Right.
No matter what. You know what I mean? And to be honest, there's nobody else I trust like I trust you. I mean... No, there's people I trust, but I don't trust them as much as I trust you.
Yeah, nowhere close.
There's nobody.
Yeah.
Nobody.
No one else. Nobody. Especially, that note about terrible consequences when the trust is misplaced. Like,
I think that's why people have come
to be able to articulate it like that. I feel like you had to have gone through some shit. Going all the way back to the beginning of this video, what we said is like there are so many options out there and so many different paths you can take that to figure out that one path, whether you can really trust that one path where it's with that one person is going to work out, it's putting a lot of faith in that relationship. It takes a lot of confidence to get to that point. That's how you get there is different for everybody. For us, we're a pretty unique exception to the rule of not marrying somebody that you've been with for a short amount of time. And that's one of the things that I read a lot too is people change over a period of years. Like the way they treat the relationship changes.
Depends on how you change together or how you change individually.
Yeah, do you grow together or do you grow apart?
Yeah. I think when you find your person, there's definitely a level of chemistry immediately where you just automatically vibe. You know what I mean? Like I just felt comfortable with you right off the bat, which was weird because I found you insanely attractive. So usually if I find somebody attractive, I get more nervous and like clams up. But you were so easy to talk to and you made me laugh a lot immediately. And I was trying to be professional because I was your server. So I had to shove the feelings down and just try to be my casual, cool, calm, collected self. You know what I mean? So it's like already kind of easy to trust you, but I know there are also a lot of manipulative people who can put out that front and make you feel comfortable. So it could have gone either way. You could have been a serial killer, but I got lucky. It was my soulmate instead.
So, you could have been an ex-murderer, but thankfully...
You could have been Ted Bundy.
Chemistry is very important. And along with chemistry can come that like inherent trust that you have straight away. But I think there are a lot of things, there are a lot of signals that people can give off that let you trust them inherently. I always think back to, I told you that I struggled with insomnia early on in our relationship, and then you just showed up with melatonin like the next day. It was like somebody...
Well, you hadn't tried it before. I was like, how have you not tried taking melatonin? It's a natural supplement.
Right, like that, but that like immediately cemented a lot of trust for me in you. You just went out of your way to get me something that I wouldn't have even gone out of my way to get for myself.
And then I downloaded your favorite.
That's right. I told her
albums.
On our second date, I showed you some music from one of my favorite bands.
Well, I liked you. I wanted to spend time with you.
A few days later,
music
but that's that level of like detail and caring. Not everybody. Sometimes, you know, and I'm sure some people can relate to this. Like you talk to somebody about something that you care about, whether it's, you know, music or movies or a show, and they're like, that's cool.
They don't listen.
But they don't. You know, they don't think to watch it with you or ask you more or download the music and try to understand it for themselves. And when somebody takes that time to understand who you are, it shows that they genuinely care. Obviously people can do that and still abuse that trust that builds.
Yeah. You have to see how it shapes over time.
Yeah, that's why you have to watch out for the red flags too.
Yeah.
So
to be honest, you had quite a few red flags.
Oh, yeah?
But all of your actions, like you told me everything up front. So it was hard to not trust you because you told me the good, the bad, and the ugly. And it made me respect you more and also made me feel like I could tell you everything, no problem.
It comes full circle. To be able to be 100% transparent every step of the way because...
You have to give a little too.
Yeah, absolutely. You can't... Because nobody's perfect.
Baby steps in.
Yeah.
Let's waddle in together. Let's waddle into these waters, James.
Everybody's going to make choices that they wish they wouldn't have, ideally, if they were bad choices that led to...
Everybody has regrets.
Bad stuff happening. But when you can be 100% honest, that's obviously a good step towards building trust, along with all the other stuff we've said. Thank you to all of you who have become Based Goomers and left your responses to the post.
Yes.
Really awesome feedback. If you want your feedback to be featured in the next edition of Why Your Relationship Sucks, by the way, that title is more tongue-in-cheek. We're not here to...
We're not telling your relationship
We're not here to tell
sucks.
you your relationship sucks.
We should ask for, like, happy stories next.
Anyway, if you want your feedback to be featured on the next episode, you just have to become a Based Coomer. It's $4.99 a month for those of you who are interested.
And then you'll be a part of the Coomer cult. Doesn't that sound like such a good time?
Oh, the best. It's the best.
Coomer cult.
All other cults throughout all of time have been bad, but not this one.
This one's good. We won't lead you to certain death.
This one's great. We will make a post in the community tab that only Based Coomers can see, and we will ask our next question where you can post your answers, and then be sure to let us know if you want your answer to be featured anonymously in the video or not.
And leave your thoughts down below.
Absolutely. Feel free to leave your questions or comments or answers to the question in the comments below. That'd be a great way to create more discussion. And of course, if you think that we were 100% wrong about something we said, feel free to chime in. Call us out. That's what this is about. It's about discussion.
Down to argue.
But if you agree with us because we're right, then feel free to say you agree because you're right too.
I think they're quickly gonna realize that I'm always right. So
yeah, you heard it from her. If she's always right, and we're on the same team, so I'm always right.
Yeah.
I always win.
Yeah.
See you next time. Mwah!